He's
Mark
not
Strong is amazing.
British in the movie, though. He's Scottish.
Yeah?
Love that man.
Well, is Mark Strong Scottish?
He's British originally, I think.
Oh.
I think.
He pulls off
Merlin's Scottish. In lore.
Oh, in lore he is?
Well, yeah, the old lore is that he was the leader of a Celt clan.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wait, who?
Merlin.
Oh.
So that's old lore. That's not going Magician Merlin. That's going way back. And they even cover that in the King Arthur movie with Clive Owen and Keira Knightley. How
Never
Merlin
seen
is
it.
the leader of this.
It's pretty entertaining, actually.
It's a really good fucking movie.
Hmm.
Yeah. Worth, if you want like a really bullshit historical piece. About
Guinevere's
King Arthur.
Like Braveheart style barbarian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Keira Knightley. She's like a slave or something, captured.
Remember, yeah.
Arthur breaks her out.
If you really want to watch a historically inaccurate movie, watch Alexander.
Well, and watch Braveheart and watch any Hollywood historical film.
For the most part, most of them.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, so they go through these series of events. People get knocked off, not necessarily die.
But they fail the test, and they're no
tests
longer in the running.
And the last test is, one of the last tests, not the dog test, but the test before that with the parachute, is one of my favorite scenes of the entire movie, where they shoot out, and it's like, all right, you got to land in this little circle in front of the house, which looks like
in front of their headquarters, which does look like Xavier's mansion.
Because even the airplane comes out right in the lawn, just like
X-Men.
School for the Young and Gifted. But they have to land on this thing.
Gifted youngsters.
Yeah. As they're falling, Merlin radios to them and says, "One of you doesn't have a chute." And so Eggsy devises this plan to say, "Hey, we got to figure out who the fuck this is so that we have a safety net."
Well, there's 6 of them still in the running.
Yeah.
And so his plan is we pair up 2 by 2 by 2, and then we pull each other's chutes so that they would. But then one of them panics, pulls his chute way too soon.
And they're odd numbered.
And then they get into a circle, and then one by one they pull their chutes until it's just down to Roxy and Eggsy. And Eggsy pulls Roxy's chute at 300 feet, which is not good.
No.
And it's like a really intense scene. Like even Merlin is like freaking out. He drops his coffee mug.
Oh yeah, dude. That scene is crazy.
Like he really thought that they were gonna die. But I mean, they land in the circle, so they're still in the running.
Right.
And this challenge cuts out 3 of them. So now it's Eggsy, Roxy, and this douchebag who has been mean to Eggsy ever since day 1.
Yeah. Typical bad guy. He's the blonde-headed kid from the Karate Kid. Not really, but that's the kind of character he plays.
But the blonde kid in Karate character has curly brown hair and fucked up teeth.
Yeah, and you could also say that the blonde-headed kid in Karate Kid is not a bad guy. This little scrawny fucking Ralph Macchio bitch comes along and starts picking on you and all your boys, and he starts talking shit about you and tries to join a dojo where you're in charge, or where you're. Have you not seen that fan fiction thing where it's like...
You were just reaching for the stars, aren't you?
Is Ralph Macchio, or Daniel LaRussa, is he not the bad guy of the Karate Kid? It's this whole theory. It's brilliant. Anyway.
Oh, people need more hobbies, I think.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree
And then,
with that.
so that's the third to last challenge.
But that's my favorite because Eggsy works together with everyone else to try to come up with a plan, and everyone executes this plan. Except for the one guy.
Yeah, except for the guy.
And Eggsy never pulls a chute. And so he starts complaining to Merlin. He goes, "So what? I'm the."
He's like, "I'm the gimp. I'm the expendable one." And
he
Merlin...
goes, "No. If you want to complain to me, you come here and whisper it in my ear." And I'm like, I just want to be able to do that to somebody just once in my life.
And then Eggsy does walk up to Merlin, and Merlin whispers in his ear, "You need to get that chip off your shoulder," and pulls Eggsy's chute. And everybody had a chute, but he lied because he wanted to get them to work together as a team. And I think Eggsy is the only one who really has military training in that group, because everyone else was picked from
prep
affluent,
schools, basically, right?
Yeah, prep schools, affluent families. But Eggsy actually had some Marine training, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what
Harry was telling him.
Yeah, he's like, why'd you drop out of the Marines? You were almost done with training and all this stuff.
Yeah, he's like, you were getting excellent. He's like top marks in the Marines, but then you dropped out. Why? And and he was telling him all the things that were going wrong with his life, and Harry was like, well, yeah, it's easy to blame somebody else. And then that's when Eggsy responds with, well, it's easy for you to say that. You were born with a silver spoon up your ass.
Yeah. Which,
he had a point.
Needs a silver suppository whenever the guys come into the bar.
He's like, are these another group of gentlemen who are in need of a silver suppository? The writing in that movie is so clever and witty. It's
so bad shit happens. The main bad guy is Samuel L. Jackson, with an incredible lisp.
Mm-hmm. Which I love it. Great character choice.
No, it's brilliant. Not fucking awful.
And his amazingly beautiful and badass partner in crime, Gazelle, who has both of her legs amputated, and in place she has like these prosthetics that with blades extending out of them, and she like slices the shit out of everybody.
So the story behind that is something that's in the graphic novel. It's not a female.
It's a large black male
who is a former Kingsman.
Oh yeah.
And so he kind of sees through the bullshit whenever in the Kingsman, in the graphic novel itself, and is ultimately responsible for the death of Jack London in the graphic novel itself. Yeah. Also, but that scene in the graphic novel was amazing too, when they try to bed the bad guy's girlfriend, and Eggsy's like, "No, she's not going to go for you, man."
Yeah.
And Jack London's like, "You want to bet?" And then makes love to her with the glasses that they can see each other's like viewpoints.
Yeah.
Still on while he's making love to her. And Eggsy's like, "Did you really need to leave the glasses on?" But yeah, and ultimately the Gazelle, and that's a lot of banter in the graphic novel that I really like too. Is his henchman going, "We really don't like your nicknames."
Yeah, because he calls him like Gazelle and Cyclops. Like
and Cyclops goes, "Please don't call me that again."
Like he's trying to.
He goes, "Oh, shut up."
This villain, quote, like he's a shitty villain, but this guy is giving these people like he's trying to be over the top Bond villain.
We never talked about it. The main point of this is a Gaia theory.
Yes.
Where the Earth is trying to heal itself. We never even talked about it. We're just fanboying out. We're freaking marking out all over this movie right now. Gaia theory, where the Earth is trying to correct itself. And I think in both the graphic novel and the movie, it's kind of explained like when a human being gets a fever or a virus, they get a fever to fight the virus. And that's how
global warming works.
Right, and that's how global warming works, is that the Earth is getting a fever to fight the virus, which is humanity. Because we're overpopulating and we're ruining the Earth itself.
They pull an Agent Smith.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah. And, yeah, they do. Ironically, from the first one when he calls humanity a virus. But that's kind of the theory, and that's what this guy's going for. And they use cell phones in both.
Yeah.
And the idea is to put out a signal through these cell phones
that turns up aggression and turns down inhibition.
And to where people would just murder each other.
Yep.
And what better place to test this out than a hate group?
Yeah, and
a hateful church.
A hate church in Kentucky and Galahad gets caught up in it, and he's there because he knows something's going on. But that scene in the church is incredible.
So good and so rewarding.
Especially, yeah, it is.
It's so fun to watch.
The views of what I'm about to say represent James Kramer alone. And I can't speak for the other people that are a member of this podcast, but if I were to wake up tomorrow and see that everyone at Westboro was murdered, I would not be sad.
By a British secret agent?
I would not be upset.
None of us would be.
I don't think anyone ever outside of Westboro Baptist Church would be upset.
I just don't want to get sued just in case they're like...
Well, you heard about the guy who lives across the street from them, right?
Yeah, he painted his house rainbow.
Yep.
Good guy.
Yeah.
I've driven by the Foo Fighters.
Really?
Had a semi-truck pull them on a flatbed trailer while they blared music at Westboro.
Well, and a lot of the famous rock groups and stuff that started playing music whenever they have threatened to... Like, I did the Joplin tornado cleanup, and they went down there to say that it was God's
wrath
or whatever, and you all deserve to die, and fucking Westboro. Yeah.
Well, I heard one story where they were protesting a soldier's funeral, and a biker gang was revving up their motorcycles to drown them out. Well,
now people create maroon walls, so that people, and they've got to stay back so far, and so then the people dress in maroon shirts, and they line up so that the families can't see that bullshit, which is amazing. But they haven't been in the news a lot lately since the asshole died, which I'm not upset at either.
Which asshole?
The leader of
Fred
Westboro.
Phelps.
Oh, okay.
He died about a year ago, 2 years ago. Something.
I don't know.
I know. My wife texted me and she goes, "Fred Phelps is dead," and I'm like,
"Sweet,
fucking Christmas."
Cut off the head of the snake.
So
no, his daughter's worse than he is.
Yeah.
Was, I guess I should say.
Although it was funny whenever Anonymous hacked them while she was giving an interview.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, they did. Oh, so good.
It was a joint interview with Anonymous and her, and she's like, "We are secure." Da 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 da. And Anonymous goes, "Oh yeah," and then all of a sudden it's like, all of our computers just went down while they're on an interview with Anonymous.
Well, I mean, who would even do an interview with Anonymous? They're anonymous.
Well, they have spokespeople.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not very anonymous, but okay.
Well, they have a they have a YouTube channel too.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
See, if I thought it would have been cooler if they just had like the Guy Fawkes mask and like a.
That's the way it works, but it's all digital, like digitized voices, so that they can't backtrack.
They should have done that in the CNN interview. It would have been so cooler.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, this movie goes, and then the final thing. It's also in the graphic novel. Mountaintop, secret people gathered together, but that final scene, what Matthew Vaughn has done with exploding heads is
best part of the movie.
That was so good.
Yeah.
Clever.
So they're both, Eggsy and Merlin are trapped in this mountain, and they're both getting ready to die. And Eggsy throws out the idea of activating these kill switches that have been implanted in people's heads. And Merlin's like, fucking brilliant, and he goes and does it.
And he hacks it, and yeah. And then all those heads explode, and it's so good.
Because it's like, you ever been to like a color run?
No.
Yeah, it's like powdered color and fireworks instead of exploding blood and brains.
Yeah, which would have been way too over the top, and just it would have taken you out of the movie, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, and now we're gonna get a sequel, and we can talk about, what we want from that. But,
But what I would like to see in the sequel is my favorite idea well, how they're all called.
Well, what do we have confirmed so far for the sequel?
What we have confirmed is that Channing Tatum is going to be in it, and he is going to be like the main statesman, which is what the American version of Kingsman is called.
So they're teaming up with the Americans at this point.
The synopsis of the movie is that the Kingsman headquarters gets destroyed by the villain. I don't know who the villain is. My guess is that it's going to be Pedro Pascal, who
say the name that people know.
He played Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones.
There you go.
Who his character name in Kingsman 2 is Jack Daniels, which love it already. But I don't know if he's the bad guy. I'm just saying he's in the top billed cast, so I'm assuming he's the bad guy. So their headquarters gets destroyed, and they have to team up with their American brothers.
Is their Merlin?
Maybe.
Whiskey.
Maybe.
Whiskey led the statesman.
That'd be funny. Yeah, so the Kingsmen now have to team up with the American version statesman, and Channing Tatum is going to be the statesman that works with Eggsy, and Jeff Bridges is going to be the head of the statesmen. And Julianne Moore is going to be in it, as well as Halle Berry. And we have a couple of returning people as well, like Roxy's going to be in it again. And
Lancelot.
Yeah, who is now Lancelot.
Because all the Kingsmen are dead, with the exception of
Well,
Lancelot.
we don't know.
Well, not the other ones.
We don't see the Kingsmen. We know Arthur is dead because he was working with Valentine.
Well, he tried to poison...
He tried to poison Eggsy, and then Eggsy switched it on him with that when he wasn't looking. And...
Yep. Which happens in the graphic novel.
Yeah. So... Yeah, I don't know what other Kingsmen joined Arthur, because Merlin didn't, so...
Well, in the graphic novel, it was much neater, because it was the entire class.
Yeah.
And so the entire class saved the world. And so
Instead of just Eggsy and Merlin.
Yeah, instead of just Eggsy, Merlin, and Lancelot.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I am looking forward to it. You said it's in post-production?
It's already in post-production. They're expecting it to hit theaters September 29th of this year.
So when the fuck did they film it? That's what I want to know, man.
I have no idea. They must have just... I mean, this isn't like a big thing. Like, Kingsman is an amazing movie, but it doesn't have the following like the DCE movies or Marvel movies, where they already have photos of them filming stuff in Infinity Wars on Tumblr.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kingsman doesn't draw that big of a crowd, even though it's an amazing film.
It should.
It really should. But...
Sorry, you're going to hear that. There we go.
Yeah, I have no idea when they filmed it. They must have done it like Bing Bam Boom. Like
and Matthew Vaughn directed again?
I believe so, yes.
God, I hope so.
I mean, I can check real quick here. So,
Ooh, that's delicious.
I don't know what else really